Yes, we do have a few reminders that we do have our Twitter active. It is all this can now actually be found if you just scroll down to the about us right on your Twitch channel. We do have our Twitter linked, our YouTube as well, and we also now have Discord going as also. And just a reminder that the University D&D is starting very soon, and all of that information can be found on our Twitter. And any questions you have can also be addressed inside the Discord channel.
Thanks, Rick. Funny enough, per usual, forgot to unmute my snowball for myself. So they heard you, but not my introduction. So we're 2 for 2 on that one, ladies and gentlemen. We're doing great. But just a quick recap on what I said when you couldn't hear me. My name is Brandon. I'm Dungeon Master, host, heading up BAR20. For tonight's episode, we will be seeing how the party comes together after continuing some adventures in Rasso, handling some threats there, a little bit of a curse that they broke out of some people. And as they returned from finishing this task, they got some grave news about a local town that had been seeing some bandit activity. Realizing that the town was home to 2 of the members, the party quickly rushed back to Wymore, where they were met with the scene you see before you. So when we left off, rain was coming down, darker into the evening, probably pushing into 7 or 8. The Kelvhen and Kathalea had looked into their parents' home and seen nothing but this scene: blood, tossed furniture, broken table, smashed chair. And then through the chaos, some guards started coming up. Snow diffused that using a bit of her druid cantrips to ensure that they saw they had come peacefully, though there was a bit of a ruckus. One of the guards seemed to recognize the name of one of these members and told the rest of the guard that was with him that it was okay, and he pushed on ahead to try and attempt to find Kelvhen. While I believe Tam was also trailing Kelvhen, and Kathalea was just outside the home, correct?
I was inside trying to tidy up because that's how I cope.
Okay. While you're in there, give me a quick... give me an investigation check.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20, very nice. As you are looking around through all of these, you get to your room, which is mostly just left alone. Not a lot going on. Doesn't look really tossed or anything, leading you to know that this wasn't a ransack. There was purpose here, and with the message left on the wall, after your kind of memory comes around a bit, you do remember that when you were helping the nobles get from your town to Rasso, there were bandits who were posing as bodyguards, and while you managed to slay most of them, one of them did escape, and they picked you up here. I would say with that, we'll just roll that into it because it is an intelligence-based stat block. I will say that you can surmise you probably just threw your name around, found your family, your parents, and the rest you can piece together.
Yeah.
So, also while you're looking around, as you get to your room, kind of on your wall, you do find your own personal map of the continent. It's a little more localized to where you guys are at, but you do have that available to you.
Is it one of those big, like, wall ones, or is it a small one, like, tabletop-wise?
I would say you put it on the wall because it's a little bit larger, but if you put it over a table, it would cover the entirety of like a regular eating table.
Okay. Do I need to notice anything specific about it, like this situation?
No, you just remember it's there. You know that you kind
Okay.
of, being your line of work that you were doing, you had come into possession of the map. So you decided to hang on to it, and it would be useful should you seek to branch out your kind of guide type work.
Okay. I think I might take it down and roll it up or fold it or whatever I would do to bring it with me out
Okay,
to
so
the
you easy enough to
main
take
part.
down. You roll it up. I would say, Snow, is there anything you want to do after you watch? And just for you, Snow, the male you had seen, he was a blonde hair, blue eyed male, about average height, kind of wearing, at your quick glance, you notice he had kind of a nicer leather armor, a long sword and shield, and kind of immediately, sheathed a long sword, put the shield over his back. As he did move the shield to his back, you notice over his left shoulder, he had this kind of like this green and blue, almost like a sash that went just down to about the bicep or the elbow, kind of
Mm-hmm.
denoting his rank as like a someone of authority over this smaller group of other towns guards.
And these are elven, correct?
They're kind of a mixture of human and half elf, maybe like one
Okay.
elf, mostly human, half elf.
Thank you.
And and that was the gentleman who, when you said Kelvin, he kind of, you saw that look of recognition in his eyes, and he kind of didn't really push past you, but looked to the
Yeah.
group he was with, said, "Hey, it's okay. Go back to your stations," and he moved past you, heading towards the house.
Towards the house or towards Kelvin? Because he was gonna go after Kelvin, no?
He couldn't have seen Kelvin at this time because of the weather
Okay.
and the darkness, so he first went to the house knowing that was there. So we'll say, Kathalea, as you're kind of taking down, you hear the footsteps coming up, like your parents' porch, and the door, the way it was broken, it just hadn't managed to shut itself again. So you hear.
I think right now with how things happen, I'd be kind of jumpy.
Okay.
To kind of
You hear a
get
voice
my
kind of call
bow.
out. Hello?
Do I recognize the voice?
You do recognize his voice.
Okay. I poke my head out of my room and look up the hallway.
You see the same average height, blonde haired, kind of like a little paler blue eye color. This is Luke Grayley.
Okay.
And this is the two of you going up together. And he had, after having a bit of a rough and tumble childhood, he had actually kind of straightened up and gone into the guard for the city and moved himself up through that.
Okay.
He kind of sees you and just gives a bit like a "I'm sorry" nod, and moves on to like kind of opening into questions like, "Hey,
Hi. Awkward wave.
sure didn't realize you were here as well. Is he really here?"
Yeah. Yeah, I found him in Rosso.
You found him in Rosso. So
Yeah.
far.
Apparently
Oh.
he's not been very far this whole time.
I need to get both of you together. Could you go wait at the guard building?
I look around, I'm like, yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
Do you need me to go find him or?
I'll look for him. You just head to the guard building.
Okay. I'll be there shortly.
Okay. During all this, Kelvin and Tamriel, since you two were kind of close together, what are you two doing?
I'm still following him where he's going.
Okay.
Weapons are loose. I mean, it's been raining too hard. I'm assuming there aren't any tracks to be found. There weren't any near their house, so we're definitely not finding any where we are now. I'm keeping an eye on him to make sure nobody really messes with him.
Okay. Kelvin, what are you doing?
I was going to walk up to the guard post where we came into town.
You didn't pass a guard post on the way in. You just passed a house where someone had been going in from the weather. The guard post, as you remember it, would probably be at this point to the way you're heading to kind of your east. So east.
I would have gone that way.
Okay, so you actually head to the guard tower and or the guard building. It takes you not close to your parents' house, but semi on the same back path. And as you're moving, you do catch a figure. Kind of, you see someone looking around, and they spot you, and you see it kind of starts to move quicker towards you.
I'll move to intercept. Walk towards them as well.
What you see coming up is this as a just soaked head to toe because of the weather, along with you as well. Blonde-haired individual wearing leather armor, longsword and shield, with the see, it's like this cloth on his left shoulder goes down to his elbow. But it's these details aren't the ones that matter. It's when the two of you get close enough and you lock eyes. Give me a quick history check.
Six.
6?
Yeah, that's a solid 6.
You have no idea who this individual is.
Where are they?
Kind of looks at you for a minute, and then takes him a few seconds to kind of, in his silence and his thought process, do you wait for him to kind of understand, or do you reiterate?
If he takes more than 4-5 seconds, where are my parents? Obviously getting visibly upset.
Yeah. His eyes kind of widen a little bit, and you see him kind of take a step back, and that's when it really clicks in who is standing before you, because it's that look in the eyes, and you notice that this is the child that had been the receiving end of the manifestation of your arcane abilities. The person you thought you killed.
Upon seeing that, I will immediately, still upset over what's gone on, but kind of not back up, but my front foot will move backwards. So it's now behind me. So it's almost like that, going from an offensive to a defensive stance.
All right. Kind of as he kind of did step back, his hand kind of comes up. We didn't know what to do. We've never... Something like that doesn't happen here. They're at the guard building. I sent your sister there too. I saw her. Come on. And he'll just kind of motion with his hand for you to follow him, and kind of wait for you to begin moving before he turns.
I will follow, kind of head down a little bit as we walk. Are you're okay?
Yeah. Woke
I
up about a day later, half a day.
I thought I'd killed you. I am so sorry.
It's all right. I wish you wouldn't have left so abruptly. A lot could have been avoided, maybe.
I was terrified.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was going on with me, you. Everything was new, and oh, there's time for this later. Can you can where are they?
And he's been walking with you this whole time.
Yeah.
As you get there, you do. He leads you inside, and it's a decently sized building. It's not huge by any means, but it's probably say the largest building in town, or close to, simply because of its purpose, not because of wealth or power, but just its purpose. And as you move in, your sister is just sitting in a chair kind of off to the side in this main kind of front foyer area. There's a kind of a clerk's desk not too far past the front door, and Luke holds the door for you as you go in.
I'm gonna follow right behind him and give Luke a nod.
He just nods back. Also, at this point, while this was happening, Snow, Kathalea would have probably walked past you and talked to you about where she was going.
Yeah, I would have let her know.
Okay.
I'm just gonna probably follow a few steps behind her.
Okay. So,
But I probably won't go into the guard building with them.
okay. So most of you meet inside, and Luke also comes aside, turns and looks to Kathalea and Kelvhen. Just give me a few minutes, and I'll go make sure everything's okay for you to come back.
Nod.
I just stare at him.
And then Luke will leave, and in this little foyer area, kind of like a front clerk's office, it's just the three of you. There's nobody else coming in, coming out.
I guess I'm gonna look at them and... Guys, I'm so sorry. We'll figure this out. Your parents will be avenged.
I know they will be. Because you don't mess with a Trissarin.
Do you have any idea where their hideout may be? You said they attacked you on the road?
So when I helped the nobles over to Rosso, they were supposed to help. And they were going to rob them. And they attacked me and them, and then Snow helped us kill. Well, I think Snow killed one. And for some reason, we let the other one go. And I see now that that was a mistake.
But it still speaks to your character.
Who gave you
Yeah.
the mission? Maybe the people who hired you and them, maybe they have information.
Very solid idea.
Yeah.
We can certainly follow up.
Give me a history check, Kathalea.
Two.
2?
Two, yeah.
Say in this moment, that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I don't remember. It's been a week.
Give it some time. We'll figure. We'll be able to track it. We'll figure something out. Maybe the nobles in Rasso will remember.
Maybe.
We'll have to return the cart and the beast of burden to them anyway. So
Yeah.
I'd say about this point, you see Luke come back with a kind of an older gentleman. He's got this bit of like a fading blonde to gray hair, a little on the thinner side. Definitely his weathered skin. It's been around for a minute. Immediately, Kathalea recognizes this as Frederick. You know, kind of the caretaker of when someone passes in your town. I won't say quite fully a mortician, but just someone who assists with that process.
Okay.
And he very quietly just comes with Luke, looks to the brother sister Kathalea and his eyes with the Kelvhen, and there's a recognition in them, and he tries to smile, but it does fade in the moment of emotion. It's pleasant to see both of you here. I'm sorry for the news that brought you. You see kind of Luke nods his head a bit. I would be happy to stay here, but I want to be out there on those streets and on the perimeters of the city. If you need me, you know where to find me.
thank you, Luke.
Thank you.
He'll just pat Kelvin on the shoulder as firmly as he potentially could. And then same for Kathalea, and he heads back out into the weather. Frederick just kind of takes Kathalea, kind of extends his hand to Kathalea to help her stand up, and then motions to Kelvin to follow. He looks to Tamriel. Family only.
Fair enough.
And he leads.
I'm gonna step back outside and go meet up with Snow.
Okay, so the two of you meet up outside. He leads Kelvin and Kathalea beyond the foyer through a door, and then a series of shorter hallways and doors before coming to one that seems to be kind of the back western area of the building, kind of off into the right would be, the way you turn, yeah. And he kind of stops before the door and turns to face both of you. And we only felt right to clean them up and put some nicer clothes on them. The state they were left in, it wasn't right. When
Thank
you're
you.
ready. And he just kind of moves himself away from the door and motions to it.
I just stare at the door.
kind of put my arm around her and then look at the door. Are you ready?
I don't think I'll ever be ready for this. But
This was not how I was supposed to come home. I'm sorry it took me so long.
just kind of nod and go to open the door.
Do you open the door?
Yeah.
As you pull the knob down and it opens very slowly. And as you look inside, this is a simple, small room. The whole building made out of wood. In the center of this are a few tables, about 4 in total. Only 2 of them currently occupied, with a large white sheet over each of them, draped over a body.
Are the tables like pushed like right next to each other, or is there a gap in between the two?
There's a little bit of a gap, enough for one person to move through.
I'll hold out my hand for Kathalea to walk in.
I go in and I go up between the two and kind of stand at the head of both of them.
Okay.
Before I turn around.
I'll follow in and stand near the feet.
Do we want to see them, or do you think it would be better to not?
I do. I understand if you don't.
You get one and I get the other?
Okay.
And then we do it together?
I will move to one side of one of them while
Okay.
she's in the middle.
And I'll go to the side of the other.
Okay.
Lightly, just down to like the neckline.
Okay.
Move the sheet out of the way.
In
Same
unison?
thing.
Okay. So as you
Yeah.
peel the sheets back, the emotional cement of this entire situation just becomes ever prevalent, as laying on these 2 tables are your parents. Both of them well taken care of in their current state, and well dressed, better than you've ever seen. You can see a bit of the neckline of a beautiful green dress on your mother, and some of her jewelry that had been found placed on your father. A nicer kind of a black tunic with a little bit of a higher collar, but kind of that like deep V-neck with the nice lattice work string.
I'll look at them. Mom, Dad, sorry it took me so long to come home. I missed you.
They always knew that you were going to come back. They kept saying, well, when he gets here. It was never an if. They knew that you were okay. I kind of look between the two. And I start with Mom and I kiss her forehead. And then I walk over to Dad and I kiss his. And I wait. I don't maybe like 5 straight minutes of like pure deafening silence, and then I tell them that I'm going to take care of everything now. And then I go to walk out.
Okay. During this time, Kelvhen, is there anything you want to accomplish?
After she goes and kisses our mother, I will go by her and just kneel down. And I know you trained her well. I can see it in how she holds herself. I know you were, but you'd be so proud. You did a wonderful job. And then I'll kiss her forehead and I'll pull the sheet back up.
Okay.
Then go over to Dad and just put my hand on his on his shoulder. Just you don't have to worry. I'm gonna take care of her. I haven't been around for a while, but I promise nothing will happen to her. And and then I wait with her in silence after pulling the sheet up over Dad, and as I go to follow her out, I stop at the door. Don't look back, but I know you guys always try to teach us ways to sort through our problems without violence. And I am sorry for what's going to happen next. And then I step outside.
Close door behind you?
Yes.
Okay. As the two of you move back into the hallway, you do see that Frederick has kind of moved down the hallway a little bit to give you that space. And as you come back down the hallway to approach him, he does kind of stop you for a minute. We weren't sure if anyone would come back. We didn't know where either of you had gone. Kelvhen been gone for some time, and Kathalea, we didn't know how long your most recent job, how far it would take you. The plan was to just kind of handle it by the city, but since you're here, obviously you have right to their burial. We can be as ready as quickly as you would need for this, or slower. But they are your parents. You will have final say. If you want time to sleep and think on it, you know where to sleep. Kind of give him a little look to Kathalea at one of the nearby little smaller inns.
I'll be staying at home for now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Of course. Well, I'll leave you to it. And he just moves himself out of the way of the hallway so you can exit the building at your leisure.
Kathalea,
Yeah.
shall we go?
Yep.
And we'll make our way outside.
Okay, in this time they've been inside, is there anything Snow or Tanriela would like to accomplish?
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask Snow what all she saw. What? I didn't go into the house. Did you go into the house?
No, I stayed outside. But
Any
from the
tracks
look of
out? Any
the
tracks around the side or out back or anything like that?
the weather is not allowing me to find anything at the moment.
Fair enough. I thought as much, but we might have gotten lucky. Do
Because
you
if I
happen?
remember, I tried to do that and I had a pretty shitty perception roll.
Yes, you did.
Was like, yeah, a 7.
Yeah.
Did you get hired with Kathalea for this job to take care of the Hund Villas?
Not
Or
exactly.
did you meet them
Not
on
at
the road?
first. We crossed paths in the forest.
So
And
you wouldn't have known who hired her.
no. I was invited to join them for the rest of their journey once we had dealt with most of these bandits. Unfortunately, I could not keep up with the one that got away. I tried, but there was no way I would have been able to catch him.
There's nothing to be done. Unfortunately, what's done is done. We'll do our best to avenge our friend's parents and find some way to help them recover. It's certainly not easy losing family, let alone parents. Children are worse, but parents are not fun.
No, it just doesn't say anything.
About this time, you hear the front door kind of the guard building as Kathalea and Kelvhen walk out.
I'm gonna kind of look at them and. So when do we go?
We need to figure out where to go first. Maybe I have something written in my things at home that could tell me.
Okay. So we'll at least spend the night and then from there go move on?
Yeah,
Okay.
it should be safe now.
I'd pity anything that thought they could do worse.
Okay, what do you guys do?
I guess we head back to their parents' house.
Yep.
All of you begin to head back to the home of Kathalea and one-time Kelvhen. Still home, just not for some time. As you begin to get back, the rain does lessen to a sprinkle, but it is still present. Are all of you going to stay at the parents' house?
I mean, I don't really necessarily need to do much in the way of sleeping, but I would like to stay somewhere dry. Is there somewhere else Snow and I can stay?
Kathalea, you would know of a kind of a smaller tavern that had like 2-3 rooms at most, not too far from the center of town. And the parents, you kind of were on the outskirts, middle, not quite all the way out, but not fully invested either. Your closest neighbor is probably 50-60 feet to your left and right.
Mm-hmm.
But you would know of a tavern called the Long Fork.
There's the Long Fork just in town. It's small, but
We don't need much room. But
if things were cleaner here, I would say we've got a spot, but
All right. We'll take care of ourselves.
yeah. Just try and get some rest tonight.
I'll
Maybe
try.
reflect on fond memories.
It might be easier when the house is clean.
Fair point. Would you like a hand with that?
If you want to. It shouldn't take too long, but
I'll see what I can do with the door.
that might work. That would be helpful.
Okay. So, Kathalea and Tamriel, you two begin attempting to clean up the blood and rummage that was left behind. Snow? Kelvhen?
I would actually like to, while they're going to start cleaning, just kind of hang back for a second with Snow. I noticed you did not go inside the guard tower at all. Why?
Let's just say that in my travels, both with you and without you, I have learned that it is best for somebody to always keep an eye on your back. And that is something that I take quite seriously, especially towards your sister.
I appreciate that, and it is good thinking.
That also gave you some privacy that you probably needed.
Thank you again. But also don't forget that we have your back as well.
I will remember that. Thank you.
Give her a smile and pat her on the shoulder and go over to where they're trying to scrub and just be like, do you need a hand?
More hands make small work smaller.
Yeah.
How many times do I need to cast prestidigitation to clean this place?
I was looking at my spells too, thinking the same thing. Do I have anything that can help this?
What's the 1 cubic foot at a time, correct?
I believe so.
It's an action to cast?
I will spend as long as it takes doing as much as I need to.
Right. But it's an action to cast, right? That's it. Just
it is an act. It is an action to cast. It is 1 cubic foot.
I'd say to get everything, to including like you're looking for just blood. You're also looking for like clutter, like dust,
No,
mud.
to erase the direct visage of there being an attack.
I would say
Dust
probably
lived
about
in. That's fine.
I'd say probably about a minute, and that's only because mentally you would need to take some kind of a moment to look away or just look at your sister or try to distract yourself from whose blood this is
Yes.
and what it meant to that life. So it's less about the amount of times to cast it and more just the mental processing of it's okay to do this. It's okay to have a clean place. It's okay. And you just keep running that through your head, kind of looking to your sister when your mentality is questioned too much by yourself. But about a minute of just solemn silence, glances here and there, you manage to handle the ferocity and intense splatter of this room. Before all that is left is just a broken table, a broken chair, 2 or 3, and just a broken door. Tamriel, you're working on that?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
About mending. How big is the tear that is in the door in your picture that your fantastically artistic friend did? Is that about the size of the wound on the door?
Yes, I would say you cannot fix the door, but you could at least make it to where the hinges were back and realigned, and it could actually keep itself opened or closed. Even if it didn't necessarily lock, it could at least go to a full close position.
Where it couldn't just open and close on its own because of the wind or something.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to spend my time doing that.
Okay.
And then after that, I'm going to kind of, I guess, figure out how I'm going to tell them goodnight. And I'm going to figure out what questions I want to try and ask while we're at the Long Fork.
Okay. So with the aid of some arcane abilities and elbow grease, all of you manage to get the front door fixed. You get the attack area cleaned up to where it seems more like just a very nice home with a broken door and some broken furniture. Time passes. No one is really sure how much, but the weight of the day and the moment does begin to press upon all of you, and you feel that drive for sleep. Exhaustion is beginning to come forward. So at this point, unless there's anything else anybody wants to accomplish, we will move into the next morning after our night's rest.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Okay. Snow and Tamriel, the two of you make your way, taking Kathalea's directions, to move yourself into the center of town, and then just a little bit south by about 30 or 40 feet, and you do see a moderately sized building made of kind of a stone bottom and then a combination of decently made lumber and mud patching with the same kind of hay thatch roof over top. And then both of you give me, actually, no, we're just going to go off passives here. That should be easy enough.
13 on mine if it's not handy.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Both of you are fine. You'll spot this, no problem. As you come up to the Long Fork, and you do see the sign hanging down, it's just probably about a 5-foot large sign of wood. It's literally just a a huge fork. Just.
I guess that is a long fork.
Both of you notice kind of off to the right is one horse, but also, and the horse is just not tied to anything, but next to the horse the horse is tied to a post for hitching, but next to the horse is a 2-horse cart, larger, and definitely seems to have some kind of, it's just a box, it looks like, just a large, huge box on 4 wheels, probably as a wagon at some point, converted into whatever this current apparatus is. But you can definitely tell it takes more than one beast to pull, but looking around, you only see one horse. But the two of you head in, and behind the bar you see, let me see, make sure I get this right.
I think before we walk in, I'm going to look at Snow and say, either that horse is stronger than it looks, or they're missing a key piece to get that thing moving again.
No, just kind of had the same thought. She's like, yeah, wonder what happened there.
Then the two of you head inside.
Do we smell smells of roasting horse?
You do not.
Well, at least we know they need it.
Inside behind the bar, or the counter, you do see a male human. He has kind of a darker hair, brown, black, middle-aged. Looks at the two of you, kind of puts his hand up. Evening.
Good evening, sir.
How the towners?
Yes, here with some friends.
Okay.
We're not sure how long we'll be in town, but a couple of rooms would be appreciated.
Looks between the two of you. One room?
I kind of look at Snow and arch an eyebrow.
I don't mind.
One room it is. I like practicality.
5 silver.
How much?
5 silver.
All right, then. A little bit pricier than I'm used to, but beggars cannot be choosers, or should not be. I set down 5 silver before I take my hand away. Got another few silver for you, if you can answer a few questions I may have.
All right. You see him reach under the counter and begin to pull up like a simple piece of string with a key on it. All right. And he sets the key down.
Do you have any idea about what happened at the Tricerian household?
Who's asking?
Friends of Kelvhen and Kathalea.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the business we're in town for.
Oh. Did you say
So,
Kelvhen?
yes. The prodigal son returns, and not under ideal circumstances.
No. Yeah, there's some couple days ago, 2, 3, some guy was walking around asking about a guide. Of course, we knew Kathalea liked to guide people, so point him in
Of course.
that direction.
Yeah.
Next morning, we found that.
So there was no screams. It was just one man that you saw.
But just by himself. He looked a little beat up.
Any scars, identifying features? And did he say where he came from or where he was headed? Where he was looking for a guide to?
No. Just I needed, kind of thinks for a moment. think he said he was going to go to Rasso.
Okay.
That seems about right.
I throw down another 3 silver. Many thanks, friend.
You see him just kind of look around. There's like 2 other people in there, but they're mostly way in on their drinks. And he just kind of pockets it and then puts the other silver into a different pouch.
I smirk as I notice and I walk away.
Alright. Before we move to the next morning, is there anything anybody wants to handle?
I guess other than the 4 hours of meditation, I'm going to jot down anything that stuck out to me between their house, what Frederick said, what Luke said, what the innkeeper said.
Okay. Snow?
Good night's sleep. Hopefully.
Kelvhen?
Sleep. I don't know how good it is.
Kathalea?
Probably trance, because I don't plan on sleeping, like actual sleep.
Okay. What do you do with your free time before your brother wakes up?
I go sit in my parents' room.
Okay.
Just kind of look around. And also look to see if I'd written down who might have hired me.
I would say in this free time you've had, give me another history check.
Lost it.
Any big money.
It's a little better.
Okay. It takes you some time trying to push past the immediate information at the front of your senses and remember back even just a week to a week and a half ago. You remember that the Hunvillas were passing through and already had one group of supposed guides with them. You were hired to be a little bit more of an experienced single person. So you were hired by the Hunvillas, but you do remember that the bandits who were posing as guards were already with them. You'd imagine they were probably connecting together that Edmund had been an established jeweler in the capital. You could surmise that those that were traveling with him when they got to Wymore were probably of the capital.
Okay.
And you kind of make that loose assumption as the sun begins to come up and is up for about an hour before your brother does wake.
Okay.
2 of you are awake now, along with, we'll say for you, Tamriel, as you are making these notes and looking through your journal, you begin to notice that, just like before, some of the words seem to be less of a hassle to push through. They begin to make some sense. But you do know there is just untold information in this full journal.
I have got to learn to read my own handwriting.
Is it yours?
I mean, it looks familiar.
Does look familiar. But morning does come. It is still an overcast dawn and seems pretty cloudy throughout the day. Rain has led up to a very light on and off drizzle. We'll say not too long after you are awake, Kelvhen and Kathalea, a knock does come at the front door.
I just stare at the door.
I'll move to the door and open it.
Standing there, you do see Luke.
I open it the rest of the way, and you can. Did you need to come in?
No. Just wanted to check on you before I went to bed.
You got the night shift, huh?
Yeah. Most things that are bad happen at night. So I'll be here for a while. And you can see he kind of does peer and look around. Everyone safe?
Yeah.
As they can be.
Let me know when you decide to bury. I'd like to be there.
Just nod.
You'll be one of the first that we tell.
And you can see he is just haggard. Looks like he hasn't slept in days. He gives a
You
nod.
go get some sleep. We're going to go take care of this.
Yeah. And he just heads off after a nod.
As he before he gets too far away, I just get Luke.
Yeah.
Sleep, or I will come find you.
Got it. And he begins to walk with a little bit more pace.
Yes, he does.
Wow. Such a bully.
Choked on my Coke.
Nothing says I care about you like
A
threats.
threat.
You will practice self-care, or I will practice not self-harm.
And yeah, the day is y'all's. What do you do?
I assume we get together and I tell them what I figured out.
Yeah.
Over some breakfast.
Okay, cool.
Do you make a breakfast at your parents' house, or do you all convene at the tavern?
I
your
imagine
parents'
that we
house.
would probably, we'd probably go to the tavern to meet them and then decide from there.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
Because they don't know when to come over.
Right?
Can't go wrong with a warm breakfast either.
So as you guys
For
move into
sure.
the tavern,
A warm, free breakfast.
Yeah, after the price I paid for that room, you're not lying.
before too long, the smell of breakfast being prepared does come through your senses. Sounds of pots and pans, clang, clong, clong. Smell of food being cooked up.
While the food is cooking, I'm gonna get Kathalia's attention and mention to her what the barkeep said the night before about how the bandits might be headed back to Rasso. They could be looking for you. They could also be looking for the Hoon Villas.
I think it was
Yeah.
more a ruse to get her. They were looking for a guide to Rasso. I don't necessarily know if they were hunting her. I mean, they were already on their way. I think it was more a guise of they were looking for her. They didn't know whose house it was. He didn't know whose house it was.
Regardless, if they do head back to Rasso,
Because if it was more than one of them, they probably would have tried to attack or something to that effect.
True.
Yeah.
We'll say at this point, as food's being prepared, Snow and Kathalea, the two of you notice as a kind of stout male dwarf begins to come out of one of the other rooms that was occupied. Decently dressed, but just way hungover. Older in age, and he just makes his way to the bar, kind of mumbling to himself. Make me a perception check real quick, the two of you.
13.
The two of you kind of just mostly mumbling grumblies, something about getting his head cleared, how terrible his journey was here. He hopes this weather is cleared up. He's got to find a damn horse. But he takes to a stool. See him kind of bring his hand up. One of the fine barkeepers takes his order, and then immediately a tankard is brought out to this dwarf.
Wait, weren't we at their house?
I thought you had stayed breakfast at the tavern. from my
Yeah, we
understanding.
took to the tavern for breakfast.
Oh, we did? Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No.
I misheard. I thought we were talking about free breakfast like at their house.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
I
My
thought you guys
bad.
stayed there.
Okay, for the sake of...
We'll eat breakfast there and then go back and regroup
Yeah,
at the house.
then regroup
for
at the
other
house and come up
things.
with a game plan. That's fine.
Okay.
So,
But only Kathalea and Snow notice this dwarf, while the rest of you are still conversing about where to move from here.
So we heard he's going to end up chasing after a horse, he said?
He's needs to find one.
Oh, he needs to find one. Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to turn to Tamriel. I wonder if that has anything to do with the cart from last night.
the dwarf?
He said he's gonna be looking for a horse. If it's a missing horse, then that would explain why there was only one horse here last night. If it's not, he still seems to be somebody of some affluence here. So,
He's missing a horse. I wonder how long the horse has been missing.
well, like I said, might not be missing, but if it was,
Well, there's one way to find out. I'm going to stand up and walk over to our well-dressed, rather small man.
Okay. As you approach,
I'm gonna
he is already just typical dwarf fashion. This tankard didn't stand a chance. Just its bottoms up.
What bottom?
Bam.
It's just gone. Wow. Thirsty, huh?
Yeah. If you'd had the last few days I've had, you'd drink just as much. Oh, you see him kind of try to right himself in his stool. His left hand moves to his kind of like lower left rib side.
What happened, friend? Tell me of your troubles.
Noah's gonna come up on his other side, gloves on, hood up, and just kind of listen.
Got stabbed on the way here from the
got-
capital.
Dabbed?
Yes.
On the way here from the capital.
Yeah, I was just coming by with my... sorry. Bagan. Flint shoulder.
Reach out my hand. Tamriel Solari.
Takes it and shakes it. Hearty handshake.
Would you...
He's got some strength.
of course he does. He is a dwarf. Would you give me that name one more time, please?
Flint shoulder. And I'll put it in chat. We'll throw it right into just the BAR20 chat. Traveling merchant, dealing in decent goods. I was making my way from the capital, through Wymore, to Rasso, and then go up the river. Follow the Zealous River up. On the way here, some scummy piece of garbage stabbed me and stole my horse.
So the cart outside is yours then?
Aye.
You came all this way with just one horse?
He's a hardy feller. Takes some more
I'll say.
time, but
But you made it.
business has to go on. Can't just sit still and starve to death.
Very true. Would you do me a favor? My
Aye.
friends and I are looking for some scumbags. Would you describe the one that stabbed you?
He's quick, shady individual. Human seemed, didn't have the pointed ears. Kind of lighter hair.
I kind of lean in and conspiratorially kind of whisper, I know they all kind of look the same. But any identifying features, scars, burns, marks?
He didn't take a punch too well. Seemed like he was already, I don't know, not ready for the fight with me, that's for sure. He stabbed me.
I highly doubt many would be.
He stabbed me, punched him once, and then he kicked the dagger a little harder and stole my horse.
Well, maybe you can describe the horse for me.
Sure. Points outside. About as big as the one I've got. A little darker. Right down the middle of the forehead. Bright white stripe.
Same size. Excellent. I'm going to put down 2 silver. Next ale's on me, friend.
Oh, much obliged.
You know, we're heading back. We were thinking about heading back to Rasso shortly. Would you care for some company? We can make sure you get there safely, make sure your goods aren't messed with. Obviously, you're quite adept at handling yourself, but more eyes is always helpful.
I'm going to be here a few days, taking care of this. He kind of holds his left side.
Fair enough.
Plus, I was going to restock, kind of buy at the local shop a little bit before I headed on.
Okay. I held out my hand again, kind of already starting to wince a little bit, knowing what's coming.
He shakes your
Well,
hand.
Master Flint Shoulder, it's a pleasure to meet you, and we'll see. May our paths cross again.
He picks up his freshly filled tankard. Aye. He starts drinking on it.
I'll walk back and sit down at the table. Sit down and look at Kelvhen and Kathalea. So, our friend was stabbed on the road from the capital city to here. And the person that did the stabbing stole a horse. Now, he's going to continue on to Rasso in a few days. He's got some business out that way, but if he was coming along, I'm going to think to myself for a second and then call out, Master Baggin, Did the man that stabbed you, did he come at you from behind, or was he walking towards you on your way here?
He came towards me
Okay.
and took off.
Back towards the capital.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Aye.
I guess we have our answer of who. Lighter hair, not very hardy, could only take one dwarven punch. He's human, which does not narrow it down very much, but at least we've got a general direction that we believe he's headed in. I look at Kathalea. I'm not super familiar with this area. Are there any other towns between here and the capital?
I think. I think there might be a couple small ones.
Okay.
But I sound a lot more confident than that,
Yeah. Just
I would
thinking.
say that, Kathalea, with your knowledge of the area, they could be considered between here and the capital simply because they are in some way, shape, or form between here and the capital, whether they're a little further north, south, or just a little out of the way. There are about 2 or 3 potential towns between here and the capital that are of worthy note.
Gotcha.
So, we've got a pretty good idea. We've got a decent timeline. Now the question remains to the plan. Do we head out to Rasso, talk to the Hoon Villas, talk to Edmund, see where he hired these people? Or do we head to the capital city and hope to God we come across him?
Do you think that he would actually tell us?
With the right explanation, we've done him quite a service. Because of the work we did, he's able to salvage his potential boondoggle of buying up the mines. I know he paid us, but if anything, he owes you. He put your life on the line a couple of times now by hiring people that were less than trustworthy that tried to rob both you and him, by sending us into the mines with no idea of what was in them, no way to prepare for it. And now, if one were to be of a mind to, you could almost say that he could be indirectly responsible. Especially if he knowingly hired people that were less than savory. So the very least he can do is tell you where he found these people.
True.
It's up to you. I'll let you handle the conversation if you'd like. But it's at least worth... It's tricky. This is... We can go, like I said, we can go to the capital city now, hope we come across him. Chance we can deal with that, especially describing the horse, unless he ditches or sells the horse pretty quickly. Or we can head to Rasso, try and get a lead there, and run the risk of the trail going cold in the capital. Or there not being a trail at all, considering it's rained and everything else.
I look over at Kelvhen. Brother, what would you do?
While gaining more information sounds like a wonderful idea, the longer we take, the more time they get. Going all the way back to Rasso to come back here and then go to the capital, they could be gone.
That's why I offered up the choice.
I think
So
we
do we
press
head to the-
forward.
All right.
Let's go.
Good to me.
Turn
Okay.
to Snow. And your thoughts. You are part of this group. You are with us.
No, it's just gonna turn to Kathalea. You know I'll follow wherever you go. I have no qualms.
Let's go to the house and get whatever supplies that we need. And should we talk to Luke before we leave? Or should we do that later?
I'm sorry?
I would recommend that if you are going to leave expediently, you should at least let him know. That way they might be able to manage the last of your parents' affairs.
Yes. And talk to Frederick?
Yes, Frederick.
And figure out what we want done.
Okay. So do you guys head to the guardhouse, or do you head to find where Luke is living?
Probably Frederick first and then Luke.
Okay. So you get to the guardhouse. As you walk in, there is a kind of a younger kid, red hair, sitting at the clerk's desk. Let me get his name real quick, because Kathalea, you would know him. This is Bryce. And he's
Bryce.
yes.
Okay.
He's got a red hair, kind of brown eyes, some elven blood. His ears aren't quite fully tipped, but they do have a bit of a more of a point to them.
Half elf then?
I'd say even a little more than that down.
Quarter elf it is.
He looks up, sees you, and that, it hits him. He's oh.
Hey, Bryce.
Miss Kathalea. Hi.
Is Frederick around?
Yes. Just. And he looks through the party. One moment. And you see him get to his feet and leave behind one of the doors. Just a few moments pass before Bryce comes back. He'll be right here.
Thank you.
And you see he just kind of very quietly takes a seat, and his focus goes to the paperwork that was on the desk, and he just moves to do that. About a minute or two passes before the door opens, and you see the older frame of Frederick. Ah, yes. Good morning. Are you here to take possession of your parents?
Over at Kelvhen, like almost second guessing myself.
We have to leave.
I see.
We have time-sensitive matters pertaining to this situation.
Should we arrange the burial?
I trust you. And talk with Luke.
Yes, he'll be.
He wants to be there.
See his eyes kind of go down for a minute and kind of look left and right as he processes information. Okay.
Thank you. Was there anything else that you needed from us?
I suppose not.
You wouldn't happen to know where Luke lives, do you?
He's not too far from here.
Could you tell me where that is?
Sure. And he kind of explains Luke lives probably about 1 or 2 buildings over. It's not too far, honestly.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, okay.
And I turn to leave.
Okay. You head out?
Yeah. Well, I turn, walk out towards the door. Kind of wait for my party to follow.
I nod and thank you, Frederick. I would rather be here for this, but this is something that I need to go take care of too.
All right.
And I go towards the door.
Make an insight check, Kathalea.
Okay. A 6.
Okay, you head out.
You hate to see it, folks.
So you imagine everyone heads out to find Luke? Or at least
Yep.
the building he
Yeah.
resides in.
Yep.
Okay. It's not too far. It's a smaller, looks like to be maybe like a 3-room hut house. There's some lumber, mostly mud, dried like mud bricks. There is a door.
I knock.
A few minutes go by. Nothing.
I knock again. Luke?
He might be asleep.
I knock again. Luke?
After about 2 or 3 more minutes, door just kind of. It doesn't seem to have like a locking mechanism. It just seems to be wedged closed. So you hear as wood on wood is ground, and then vonk, it comes open as he pulls it up from the inside. You see Luke there in just like a loose tunic. Yeah. Oh. His eyes trying to adjust to the sunlight. As it's, well, brightness, not really sunlight, still over cloudy, just the daylight.
I'm sorry to disturb you. I know you were sleeping.
It's all right. What's going on?
We have to go. We have potential word on where someone might be.
Okay.
talk to Frederick. Help with details and arrangements, please.
For your parents?
Yes, please. We will be back as soon as we can.
Oh. You can tell he's just trying to process this information, but he's also pretty out of it. Okay.
We might have information on their killer.
Okay. Just be careful.
We'll keep an eye on them.
He kind of shakes his head. No. And his hand reaches out and kind of touches on your chest, Kelvin. He looks you in his eyes, some of the sleep kind of beginning to move away. Be careful. And then he kind of blinks a little bit. I'll see to it for your parents.
I nod, and then thank you. I will be. Kind of pat him on the shoulder a little bit. Now get back to sleep.
Right. And he closes the door here. Clunk. As it kind of wedges back in place.
All right. I think it's time to go.
Let's go. Oh, are we bringing the cart?
I don't know. Are you
Or
bringing
are
the
we
cart?
walking? That's why I'm asking the group. I mean, do you
a
think
very
we
good
need to
question.
bring the cart? We might move quicker without it.
True.
It'd also be
How
easier
big
to
is
carry
the
your
cart?
supplies with it.
Yeah.
I'll say it's probably about anywhere from,
What?
excuse me, if you're looking at one of our usual like 5x5 maps, it's probably like a 2x3. So probably
Okay.
about 8 to 10 by 12 to 15. It's decently sized. It's definitely made to hold a lot, like a week's worth of what you would imagine to be mining, things to be sorted through that came from the mines.
Is it enough to carry 3 of us?
Oh, easy.
Because it may be faster if we take turns. We might not have to sleep. Or stop to sleep, I should say.
But we would need a rotation of beasts to be able to do that.
True.
Otherwise, we'd be pulling this cart ourselves within a couple of days.
We might have another solution to solve a couple problems at the same time. We need to get this cart and beast back to Rosso. A certain dwarf needs a beast to help pull his cart to Rosso.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I bet they could pull both. Send this stuff back. Maybe we can try and find horses here. Maybe people can lend us horses. Would this area look like there are people that could spare 4 horses?
Looking around, you haven't really seen much of anything in a way of beasts of burden.
Well, we can at least send everything back with a note to go back to the Hun villas. And would allow him to move quickly, because an empty cart between those 2 creatures would probably not be hard.
Right.
I like the way you think, Kelvin. I clap him on the shoulder.
Okay. So you speak with Mr. Flint Shoulder. He's more than happy to oblige. Allows him to move on with his merchant business. Before you leave, he's like, is there anything you need to buy? Good price.
What do you have to sell?
He would have...
Let me rephrase. What do you have to sell that we would want that we can afford? I'm not saying that to him, but... I mean, if
this, he would kind of look the group over a little bit. You can see he's kind of not really looking at you, but looking through most of you, kind of getting a read for you. I might have a few things some of you would enjoy. And at this point, he would be actually setting his cart up to do business. So you watch as he kind of opens up the side. Is this just a open up like wood shingle? There's a single hinge, and it goes on top of the cart. And he's got, bits of armor, simple rudimentary weapons. But then you see him as he takes this key ring out from under his tunic and, no, here you are. And he opens this kind of a smaller drawer off to the side and pulls it out. And he pulls out probably about, I'd say, a golf ball sized kind of a D8 shaped diamond, along with a vial of red liquid and a kind of a, I'd say probably about a 1 foot wide by about half a foot deep, and then probably about 4 or 5 inch thick box. And this the what he's unlocked is it runs almost the entire length of his cart. So he pulls these 3 items out. He goes, this here, and he holds up the little diamond. It's an enchanted focus. Helps spellcasters not need so many things on them. Can't replace certain items, but it helps with basic spellcasting. Lets you really hone in your arcane abilities. Kind of sets it down on the kind of a shelf that's above that one. He holds up the red law vial. Here, quick restoration of your vitality. You find yourself getting stabbed, like me, you down one of these, you're not so bad anymore. Still gonna hurt in the morning though. And then the large case he pulled up, he kind of opens it up, and inside you just see all manners of just cooking materials, a couple of small vials of spices, and this is the equivalent of what would be like a chef's kit. Like this, not indispensable on the road. Get you some nice edible plants, some varmin you hunt. Spice any of that up for a pretty good meal on the go. What you think?
How much for the box?
That would be... Let me get to my notes here. Where did you go? Chef's kit, where did you go? I just saw you. Thank you for your patience, folks, as I reread through the notes I read 500 times. Where were they? There they are. Cook's utensils. For you lot? Knock it down quite a bit, seeing as you let me have... Kind of shakes his head. No. Hang on, is this horse to keep, or do I gotta give it back to somebody?
It must be returned. I'm sorry.
Yes.
We give him the details about the Hoonvilla family.
You know Edmund.
Yeah.
You know Edmund Hoonvilla, the greatest jeweler of Ry'Tul. You're kidding me. He's in Rasso now?
Yeah.
You helped clean out his mines for him.
Oh my god. And that's his horse?
Yeah, and that's his cart. I imagine he'd owe you a pretty big favor if you returned them.
Yeah, no. Here. And do you have interest in these items?
Sure.
He just hands them over. Like, he is visibly excited. So you can add to your... Someone can add to their equipment a... Make sure I get this wording correct. A crystal arcane focus. A... Where were you at? Cook's utensils. And a potion of healing.
I'll take the cook's utensils.
Okay.
I guess the focus is aimed towards me.
Probably better you than me, because I think druids are weird about that stuff.
Yeah.
I forget exactly what it is, but
it just can't be metal. You're fine with
Oh, that's
this.
right.
This actually would align with what you would like because it comes from the earth. It is made over heat, pressure, and time from coal. It is a diamond.
yeah. No, but you can keep it though. It's fine, because I already have a.
And the potion of healing.
A focus.
I can hold on to that.
Okay. Add those items to your inventories.
That works.
Yes.
And once again, you can. This dwarf has his demeanor has completely changed. He is excited. He is very happy to be helping whoever this Edmund Hoonvilla is.
Well, Master Balag, we must be on our way, but we thank you for returning these things to Rasso for us.
Oh, absolutely. I get to meet Edmund Hoonvilla.
Yes, you do.
And he starts whispering to himself as you see he's already closing the shop down and starting to get the other horse tethered in.
Those few days are over. He's just he's gone.
He's gone. He's not even restocking. He's like, I gotta go meet Edmund, right stat now.
He's fangirling so hard.
Pretty much, yeah.
The best.
For all of you unsure why.
To be fair, it is a noble that owns mines, and mines are usually the place dwarves want to be.
True.
Well, not just that, he said he was the greatest jeweler in the capital city. So even though he didn't have a ton of money to give us at the time, he's obviously a man of great means.
I would say, who was in there during that conversation?
Do what?
This would be everyone except Kelvhen can make a history check.
I left.
Oh,
I mean,
now
I
get a good
remember
one.
the conversation. I just wasn't there for it.
Oh, gee.
Now I get a good one.
Kathalea, you do remember during payment, he had stated that his profession prior to selling his business and everything he had acquired in the capital, he was, in his words, an established jeweler of the capital.
I think that actually was said at some point.
Yeah, that sounds right. Oh, man.
So?
Well, are we off then?
I suppose we are.
Did we ever
Sweet
go back
character.
to the house and get supplies, or did we skip that?
I'd say we probably did that before we left to leave.
Yeah, I
leave.
was just gonna wrap that
get
into
back,
some
we
kind
took care of
of
the cart, the horse.
quick things.
Yeah.
I will say at this point, though, you now will be carrying your required food and water that you need for this. I believe it was a 3-day travel to the capital. Let me double check my notes. Especially by foot.
Food, I should be good. I can cover us on food. As long as there's anything for us to eat or drink, I can find it with my Outlander background.
Okay, yeah, it is 3 days by foot.
Okay.
Okay.
It could be a lot worse. I've traveled a lot farther.
All right. Well, before we kick off travel, we're going to take a quick 10-minute break. Good for everybody?
Sounds
Yep.
great.
Yes.
All right, then I'll see you guys at about 8:02, 8:05. I'm going to take a quick break. Everyone that's been here so far, paying attention, hanging out with us, thank you so very much. We're going to take our break, get some snacks back in us, and we'll see you in about 10, 12 minutes.
Sounds good.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for hanging out for our quick break. We're going to get back into it here. The party has decided to have the horse and cart sent back with Mr. Flintshoulder to Rasso. They have moved the affairs of your parents' burial to basically the city. We'll handle it at this point, and you will begin your journey to the capital by foot. Let's say at this point it's probably about late afternoon. All the kind of running around you've done, conversation, thinking, you would have been given. And for also quick catch-up point here on breakfast and lunch, neither meal was charged, so we're not going to worry about any reduction of funds there. They would have noticed who it was, who was all together, and not out of pity but understanding, giving a free meal to those with Kathalea and Kelvhen.
Great.
So, late afternoon, overcast sky still, no rain. The drizzle even itself has died down, but it's also not drying up much. And the party begins to head out. I would take a guess that Kathalea is leading this.
Yes.
I'll be right behind her.
Okay.
Whip at the ready.
All right.
Kind of like in hand, not dragging it, but I'm holding it.
Okay.
Hand crossbow offhand.
Okay. As we move to the travel portion of this, if I could have my players direct their attention to the stream, I have some fantastic artwork presented to us by my artist, Mr. Zach. You can catch his work. He's beginning to build his YouTube channel at Zach Draw Stuff for YouTube, and I'll have that in the chat on the lovely spelling of his channel. But he's just been a fantastic artist for all the background work you've seen here. For all the artwork for the background has been provided by him. So please go check him out and just give him that like and subscribe for when you see his speed paints come up. I believe he'll also be putting the background speed paints up there as well. So those will be interesting.
Did he seriously just put one F in there?
Yeah, he did. Come on. It's Zach. We know Zach.
It is Zach. This is very true. Fantastic.
A little bit. Now I've had a chance to look at it and really narrow it down here for the party to kind of see. And there you are. But as this first half day of travel comes to you, the two of you who are leading this, Kathalea and Kelvhen, I believe, or Tamriel.
Tam, yep.
You would give me survival checks.
Survival? Of course.
Oh my god.
Not much better, but a little bit.
I would say your mind's still not clear from what's transpired over the last couple of days. Leaving the city in your hometown abruptly, not even handling your parents to the earth. You're all day you're just guessing, is this the right path? Where's north again? You guys barely make it much progress before night does come to you. But you do make it out of the town. It's no longer in your visual range. Evening comes. Find a decent enough place to bed down. I'm gonna guess business as usual for handing off trance and watches.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm going to actually climb up into a tree to kind of keep a better eye.
Okay.
No, we'll look at him. I see up a tree.
You're on.
Okay. I would say
Acrobatics?
yeah. Both of you give me acrobatics checks. I was deciding this would be.
Nope.
Yep. Snow, you go to get that first grab, and it is just slick. And before you can get your tabaxi claws to flex into the bark, you just and you catch it. You don't fall, ass over tea kettle. You don't fall down, but you battling back on your feet. You're like, and chink. Claws come out, and by the time you look over and up, Tam's already, first, second branch, just going.
Damn, so much for my 20-foot climb speed.
Hate it for you. I also have Adept Explorer, which is a pretty cool little Inquisitor ability. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely feels like second nature to you as you have moved up this tree, and it was just easy. You're not sure why. So you look
Muscle
down, you're like,
memory is
oh,
a hell of
wow.
a drug. I'll take that win. I just kind of lean back against the tree branch.
Once Snow catches up, she's just gonna panther lay out along one of the limbs and keep an eye down below.
Okay, give me perception checks.
Alright, let's do this. Oh, Eve. 11?
Okay.
9.
All right. For this first little bit of a watch, nothing really seems to be going on. You don't notice any movement outside of what you would imagine to be normal. Kind of the wind rustles through. Off in a far distance, far. Nothing to worry about. You do hear kind of a wolf howl, but it is out there. And second watch.
Alright. Oh, that's still me.
Still you.
Oh yeah, that's
Say Snow would go off to sleep now.
Mm-hmm.
Much better. I was not distracted this time around.
Nothing. It is. It's quiet. It's not like eerie quiet, but it's like forest quiet. It's just, there's insect sounds, a little bit of movement, nothing crazy. But as you move on to your trance, Kathalea takes over. Give me a perception check.
Yep.
I like that number. That's a good number.
Same thing. It's just not eerily quiet. It's the right amount of quiet. It's just enough noise to keep your mind numb and focused as you are now on your alert status, looking around, making sure everything's okay.
Okay.
So, morning comes. The clouds seem to have mostly dried up by now. Sun is beginning to come out. It was never cold, but now it's just the feeling of the sun. It's like, oh, it's warmer. Thank goodness. And all of you begin travel of your second day. Really, your second day of travel.
Yes.
The two of you leading, would you please give me survival checks?
Please do better. Man. For real.
Yesterday.
Not by much.
It's still better.
Still better.
Yep.
Yes, ever the optimist.
As you are leading through this path, the familiarity begins to pick it back up. The muscle memory of your travels going, and you're used to going from Wymore to Ry'Tul back to Wymore to Rast. So it's kind of why you were picked up. That was your kind of your selling point to the Hoon Villas. As you think more on it, you begin to realize that the other guards that were posing of the bandits didn't really want to pick you up. They didn't say, no, we don't need extra help. But Edmund, confident in your abilities as you brought yourself across, said, oh, I've made this journey plenty of times. He hired you on. As you're moving through this, you make up a little bit of time. Not everything you've lost. We'll say days mostly uneventful, right until about evening time. Kathalea and Tam, give me perception checks.
Let's holy. Yeah, not bad.
Oof.
As the sun begins to come down a little bit, it's still, you probably got about another 2 hours of daylight, but you start thinking, okay, I need to start looking around, start thinking, where do I want to sleep tonight? And as you're looking around, your eyes kind of pass over this humanoid shape not too far off from the path, off to your left a bit, which would be north. It's kind of shorter, potentially just a smaller humanoid figure kind of behind a tree and looking at the party as it passes by.
As soon as I spot him, I'm grabbing Kathalea and I'm looking to see if I'm spotting any others.
What's your perception check?
16.
You don't see anything else.
I'm going to point him out. And I'm going to start walking towards him. Hello there. Why don't you come on out from around that tree?
When you speak to it, at this point you notice it is a child, and it begins to run. Just takes off in fear.
Uh,
All of you watch this as Kelvhen, or Tamriel, I can't get my names right. Goodness.
good lord, man.
Yeah, you see Tamriel.
I'm not the one scaring a child this time.
I know. The two of you, all of you, watch as Tamriel speaks to something, and then you see this child just begin to dart through the forest away from the party. Just
Poor kid.
Tam, what did you do?
I didn't want to get ambushed. I asked him to step out from around the tree. Do we take off after him?
Oh, yes, let's just scare the child and then chase him down.
I didn't say we chase him down and hog tie him, and I didn't suggest spreading out so we can corner the kid. But if he's hurt or his family is hurt and he's trying to find someone to help them, we should, I don't know, man.
I agree with you. Let's go.
That's that poison sack.
So, two of them have said they're gonna go. Snow is gonna take off running, dash, action to keep going, and use her feline agility to double that speed. So she's going 120 feet after this child.
Oh yeah, you catch him. No
Good
problem.
God.
You catch this kid, no problem.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to dash without feline feet, and I'm just going to run.
Yeah, you
So-
watch as Snow actually takes from the ground to tree to tree to tree to tree, claws out, just pushing off.
Trying to not scare the child, but also getting around and in front of the child to cut them off.
Okay.
We get it. You're fast.
This is what I wanted to do to Kelvin, and I didn't get to do it.
As
So
Tamriel begins to run out of breath. We get it. God, I'm out of shape.
You're fast.
Yeah, easy enough for you. You get in front of the child, and once you land in front of him, he just freezes.
I'm going to look to my sister and shall we go? And then start walking to where they went.
Okay.
I lightly jog.
Okay.
So
So, Snow, you're in front of the
she's
kid. He is petrified in place.
Snow's gonna
I'm
just
gonna say
lay
I
down.
have
She's gonna lay down
Okay.
and not approach. But if the child moves, she's following, kind of thing, like tracking everything
You
and
see,
making sure that child can't get away.
he does it like that Looney Tunes thing where like he tries to go left and you go right. He tries to go right and you go left.
Exactly.
probably about that time that I walk up.
After just
We're
about,
not here to hurt you.
the kid
We're
turns,
just trying
looks
to
at you.
help. Are you okay?
Make a perception check. Tamriel.
Yeah, 19.
Very nice. Right away you can tell this kid just looks dirty. The corner of his lips are a little pulled back and dried. And he looks hungry. Little skin, like cheekbones are starting to show through.
Ooh,
And he's just wearing
malnourished for sure.
like he's just wearing like very basic like shirt.
Rags.
No, they're still like sewn, but just worn and dirty.
Yeah.
He has a shirt. He has like cloth shorts. No feet. No footwear.
I was gonna say, damn, how did he run with no feet?
No footwear.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm picking up what you're putting down. I'm gonna drop to one knee.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna pull out my water skin and a bit of our dried rations.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna kind of hold them out. You look like you can use some of this. Go easy on the water. Don't gulp it down. Just a few sips at a time. Otherwise, you'll get sick.
Kind of make a persuasion check.
Oh god. Oh, okay.
Not bad.
He
That's definitely better than the poison
kind
sack.
slowly walks up to you and takes the water skin. And he seems old enough to understand what a water skin even is, as he kind of holds it, one hand towards the mouth of it, the other hand on the backside, and he takes a couple drinks from it, and then looks at the food. You hand it to him.
Yeah.
He starts going in on the food.
That's what
Do
I
Kelvin
thought.
and I make it by now?
By now, yeah. By the time he's starting to chew on the food, he's looking at all of you, still not as scared as when he was running, but still, he's a kid. He's hesitant. He's looking around.
Oh, you look at that. We made a new friend.
I walk over and I sit down by Snow.
I also say at this point, with that high of a perception roll, you would notice that this kid has brown hair and very green eyes, almost like Feywild green.
Emeralds? Oh.
Ooh.
His ears are slightly pointed.
Half elf or less than?
About 3/4 to half. Or, yeah,
Yeah.
a little more than usual of halves.
A little more than half elf? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull out another piece of food, a little more like jerky or whatever. Not lizard jerky, but
Okay.
people jerky.
Jerky made from people? Got it. Do you hand the jerky made from people
No.
to the kid?
I am not giving jerky that normal people eat.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I'm gonna give him that. Do you have a name?
His head kind of
And may
nods.
we?
Iren.
Can you tell us?
My name's Iren.
Iren, my name is Tam. Do you have any family around here?
When you mention family, his eyes just kind of go down.
Okay. Do you have anywhere you're staying around here?
Kind of shakes his head.
Well, would you like to camp with us tonight? We're getting close. We can catch some more food. Something a little bit fresher than jerky. Get some more water.
He just kind of nods his head.
I think this is as good a place as any to get some sleep. What do you guys think?
Sounds good to me.
I also
fine.
go ahead and introduce everybody to Iren. And, well, bud, do you want to help us build a fire?
Kind of nods his head.
Or do you
There's
just
a little
wanna-
bit of a smile. I can build
All
a
right,
fire.
man. Yeah. Why don't you help us build a fire? I'll go catch us a couple of things to eat. And then we'll go from there, okay? You just stay here with my friends.
Okay.
And I will use my fancy Outlander ability that I can't remember the name of to be able to get enough food and water for up to 6 people. So I'm going to use that to catch, I don't know, some kind of wild animal for us to eat.
Okay.
If you'll allow it.
Give me a travel check.
Okay. 21.
Easy enough. It's a second nature to you. As you, even just going through the hunting motions, you feel like you're beginning to connect with some memories. Some things are less thought and more it just happens, almost as if your muscles in your body are getting there before your brain does.
Finally starting to feel like myself again, I think. If I can remember what I feel like.
But you're gone no more than probably say about an hour.
Okay.
The rest of the party, what are you doing?
Oh,
Try not to scare this child.
Pretty much.
Okay. How do you accomplish this?
I give Snow head scratches.
Okay.
Snow would probably look at the child and ask, "Are you hurt anywhere?"
Kind of shakes that a bit. No.
She will use her druid craft, like, one action at a time, to make it'd probably be weeds, but try to make, like, either dandelions or something blossom in a circle around the child.
Aww.
You can see he kind of laughs at it. As he's looking around and get a little laugh. My mom could do that. She liked to play with plants.
Your mother?
Yeah.
Do you know if she had? Magic? Any kind of specialty? Or did she just enjoy the garden?
She could make plants grow.
Is
I
that
think
something
that's
that
the
you
best
enjoy
thing.
as well?
I can't make them grow.
What was that, Kathalea? Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was like, I think that's the best kind of magic. Like trying to help him feel better.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna work on making that fire.
As you begin to do that, you see the kid kind of also gets up and begins to help you. Doesn't do too bad of a job. Seems to know how to do the back and forth with the stick into another stick.
How far would we be from our destination at this point?
At this point, with that bit of a slower day, you're probably about, say, day and a half, 2 days away.
Okay.
As he's doing that, I'll try to, just without pushing too much. Like, so where do you stay around here?
He just kind of focuses on what he's doing, and then see his head kind of shake a bit.
Yeah, no, we're not staying here either. We're on our way through, heading up to the capital. Are you just passing through?
He kind of shakes his head.
Do you
At
know
what
how you
point
got
am I
here?
walking up?
Yeah, by the time you're walking up. Yes. Do you know how he got here?
Mm-hmm.
He just kind of been walking for about 2 suns now.
That's a long way.
Yeah.
I kind of set down the meat that I've gathered and the freshly filled skins and begin to pull out my cook's utensils.
Okay.
Get to try my new toy.
We'll say,
As I start to...
considering your background and those configuring for the DC, give me one more survival check.
One more survival check. Criminy.
Normally it's definitely edible what you've made in the past couple days, week and a half that you've been conscious from waking up in that mausoleum. But this ain't too bad. You've made worse and tasted better. But from something from your own 2 hands, feels pretty good. Takes a bit to get used to the utensils. Takes a little longer than what you would have liked. But a meal is served.
Next.
So just so I know, in comparison, how does this compare to lizard jerky?
Oh, this is
God.
delicious. This is 5-star food for you, bud.
Kelvhen is going to town. Like, this is amazing. You made this out here?
I sure did.
You can kind of, let's say with your passives, let's say Snow and Kathalea, you notice this kid has mostly been either looking at the ground or looking at Tamriel, specifically the items on him. If you want to attempt to discern more from that, you can give me perception checks.
Yeah, I totally will.
Ooh.
20.
Nice.
17.
17's pretty respectable too, yeah.
More than enough for both of you. Fantastic rolls. You notice he seems to be looking at the whip and the short sword. Almost like trying to figure out what they are. But dinner is had, and it begins to get a little bit dark.
I tell you what, Aaron, how about you use my bedroll tonight until we can get one for you? Does that sound fair?
See his head nod. He's still got like food in his mouth.
I'm sure it's been at least 2 days since you've had something decent to eat. So I will leave you to it, let you get closer to the fire so you stay nice and warm tonight. And we'll keep an eye on everybody, okay?
Okay.
All right, buddy. You get some sleep, and may it be restful. At that point, I'm going to start to bank the fire just a little bit, A, to keep it going, but B, to kind of limit its visibility from a distance.
Okay.
And then I am going to climb into a tree high enough to where I can see outward and also not have my night sight kind of messed up by the campfire.
Okay. Everybody else?
And I will take my watches.
Snow would probably do the same thing, but she's gonna stay closer to the ground and keep an eye on everybody from floor level.
Okay.
Kathalea is probably gonna stay fairly close to her brother
Okay.
for a while.
Okay.
Who passes right out.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Oh my, good food.
I would say, Kathalea, give me a quick insight check. Kind of paying attention a bit here and there as dinner was had and first contact with his child. That similar feeling from what you and your brother have experienced the last couple of days. You kind of can just tell how that looks on a person after spending this time with your brother and looking inward and looking at yourself upon this child. You can tell he's probably has a similar situation. For those of you taking watch, it's uneventful. Again,
Okay.
not eerily quiet, just proper forest quiet. We'll say, give me your perception checks. See if you pick up on anything deeper than that.
Something.
Nice.
Do you want us all to do it, or just like in
Yeah,
our
go
normal
ahead, everyone. Anyone taking a watch? I would say Tam would be the only one to pick up on this. As you are up in the tree, you begin to catch ear of a noise that's not quite of normal forest fashion. And looking around, trying to figure out what it is. Your eyes move directly below you, and as you look down, you can see the child seems to be twitching a bit in his sleep as his voice whimpers out various words. And with a 21, you can make out he's specifically calling out. You would imagine in his dream he's probably yelling, but as it comes through physically is a low whimper of a whisper of mother, father. bear. And then just mother, father, big bear. It's kind of a little bit on a repeat, randomly mixed up, before a deeper slumber does take him for the rest of Kathalea's watch.
But I don't notice it, just
You
Tam.
do not notice it, no. Only Tam does.
Okay.
When he's saying bear and big bear, does it sound like he's calling out to a big bear or about a big bear?
Make an insight check.
Do you know what I mean? Do what?
Make an insight check.
Ooh. Not terrible. 16.
Though he is asleep, there is a certain almost taste of fear when he speaks of this bear.
So it's probably a creature.
However, the rest of the night is uneventful. Morning comes, everyone wakes, and the day is yours. What do you do?
I am going to pack up stuff, and I'm gonna kind of squat next to Irin.
He's
Well, little man,
waking up.
how would you like to come with us?
Kind of, you see,
We
he
can-
kind of stands a little taller, and there's a bit of a smile just pushed through as he nods his head. Please.
I think that's a good idea.
All right. All of you prepare for travel for the day? Yes?
Yep.
Yes.
Does
As,
anybody-
do
as
that.
we leave,
Okay.
as we get ready to go, I look at the child and how would you like the best seat in the house?
His eyes kind of widen a little bit. Yeah?
I'm gonna reach down and try not to scare him, but pick him up and put him on my shoulders.
And he allows you to do so.
Nah.
All right. For this day of journey, my front two adventurers would give me their survival checks.
Oh, yay.
Oof.
Garbage.
Okay.
Slightly better than not garbage.
Say between the two of you, Tamriel really mostly kind of keeping focus on north versus south and all that, helping her address the main path. Kathalea, you begin to, with that help, get more routine. It's familiar territory for you. All of you travel the day uneventful. I would say at the probably with the size of this, probably be about late afternoon as the clouds have fully cleared. Everyone give me a perception check.
Ooh.
Go.
Wow.
16.
These fucking dice just hate me tonight.
They really do.
Thing.
I would say Kathalea and Snow, you are a little focused on the path directly in front of you, but Kelvhen and Tamriel, especially Kelvhen, because you have Erin on your shoulders, kind of looking up at him and looking around. Off in the distance, far out, but as you just begin to crest over a bit of a hill on this. By the way,
Actually, that gives a good point. With the kid on my shoulders, does that give me the help action?
no.
If
The
you
kid's
don't
not
ask,
proficient.
if you don't ask, the answer is always no, so it doesn't hurt to ask.
I would say as you have come out of a bit of a forest area and come up over a grassier hill, as you crest this hilltop, Tamriel and Kelvhen, you notice far off in the distance this shape that is unnatural and not of nature.
Oh god, it's dragon.
And you see in the distance what looks to be a tiny town. But as you look longer at it, you begin to realize, and kind of looking at things beyond it in an area around where it is, it's not a tiny town. That's a castle. That's a tower over there. And you begin looking like north and south, trying to judge how far away it is. And at this point, it's pointed out to you, and Kathalea, you see it, and you're like, oh, there's the capital. There is Ry'Tul.
We're almost there.
Nay, but a day and a half journeys away. More closer to a
Day and a
day.
half.
Closer to a day.
Okay.
As you notice that the kind of the hill you're on doesn't rapidly go into a valley, but it does eventually open into just this sprawling, large, gradual valley, giving you this fantastic view of all the things Thavia has to offer. Grasslands, forest, simple plains. It is just sprawling greenery and beautiful. We'll say for the rest of your walk for this day is uneventful. You camp down. Is there anything you want to accomplish before we move to the next morning?
I would like to talk to the party. Maybe we put Erin to bed, and then we kind of keep an eye on the fire, on him, on our stuff, but kind of step away a little bit so we can talk quietly.
Okay.
Without waking him up, and also to kind of... So, we're close to the capital now. We're going to need to come up with a game plan here. Where we're looking, what we're looking for, how we go about looking for them.
And what do we do with him?
Yeah, that's the big question.
I mean, as much as I love having a kid around, this isn't a place for a kid.
It can get him hurt. Has anybody else heard him whimpering at night? Anybody else pick up on that?
I didn't hear anything.
I'm lucky I heard anything over your snoring.
I don't know what you're talking about. Lies and deceit.
Of course you don't know what I'm talking about, because elves don't snore, right? Anyway.
I've heard them snore before, but not me.
I can tell that he looks like he's been through something similar to Kelvhen and me.
Best guess is whatever happened has something to do with a bear and his parents. He's calling out to his mother and father, talking about a bear. Quite sad.
Brayden,
Yes.
I would not have any connections in the capital, would I?
You've stayed there a night or two here and there, but you haven't really, stayed there extendedly. Normally, when you help people get from Rasso to Wymore to the capital or any other close to the lumber mill towns, you mostly just kind of found the first tavern you could, slept, and headed back home the next day. So
Okay.
you would have contact at one of the taverns you would know of where you've stayed before. There's one of two you stayed at, depending upon how well you were paid. If you were paid well, you stayed in a place called the Immortal Meadery. If you were paid a little on the cheaper end, or you got stiffed on the bill, you stayed at a place known as the Gracious Pint.
But I'm not really close to anybody.
Would say, give me a history check. See how much you remember. You can see the tavern's owner's face in your mind, but a name is just... It's not there. It's on the tip of your tongue, but you can't catch it.
Okay. I don't know anybody that could take him.
No, but we can probably ask at any reputable inn or tavern if there are orphanages or people that take in orphans. He must be kept safe.
Yes.
So it's agreed. Once we get into the city, we find an inn, and from there we're able to find where we can get him somewhere to stay. We can check up on him while we're still in the city to make sure he understands we're not abandoning him, but we are here for a reason. So, besides the two taverns that you just talked about, do you know anywhere else in the capital we might be able to try and go look? I suppose we could try and pretend to be oblivious travelers and get quote-unquote mugged and ply that into finding what we need.
Not a half bad idea.
Whatever we do, we have to be careful. Because if he knew to come to our house, he knows at least your face. And I point to my sister. And probably yours too, Snow.
Would he have even seen her face?
I believe Snow had her hood up the whole time.
I was going to say, would she have shown herself to him?
You don't know.
Probably not. Not right away. If at all.
By George, if we get you a different colored cloak, you're a completely different person.
Who's George, and why are we buying him?
That's going to be the child's new Christian name. I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my lord.
You are awful. Moving on.
Moving on. Yes. But it sounds like we have a game plan. Get into the city, find safety for the child, and then try and find someone to mug us so that we can start finding out which dark corners we need to stick our nose in so that people understand that evil will not be tolerated.
We might be able to do a couple of those things at once.
I don't think they're stupid enough to try and rob a child, Kelvin.
No.
Sell the child.
Maybe. I kind of stroked my chin thinking about it for a moment. No.
Could you potentially disguise yourself?
Me?
Yes. Or disguise someone else. You do have a few gifts that are outside of what I can do.
I don't have that kind of ability.
More than fair. Okay.
However,
Was just a thought.
my thought was if we send the one person who is known to the people to deal with the child while we get mugged by a hooded drifter, if you catch my drift.
I do. I believe I do.
Yes, we get mugged by snow.
Yes, that's what I thought.
Okay.
This is all with the goal of trying to flush somebody out?
I guess.
And what if you two just end up beat up on the side of the street?
Or we could just ask if anyone's seen what else did either of you see, can either of you describe the gentleman that this monster that we're searching for?
If it's the same one that robbed Bagon, he's human with lighter hair and not very hardy. I think it might be easier for us to track the horse.
He may still be cooked from the last encounter that we had with him, from the sound of it.
Cooked.
Does that sound familiar to anyone that you remember from that battle? Could you describe him better?
I remember he was a human.
Yeah, would Snow be able to remember any more details than what she already has?
I would say, considering that you did track them for at least half a day to 3/4 of a day, and then Kathalea, you spent a day and a half to almost 2 days with them, you would be able to kind of put your information together that the name of the man was Taine, Taine. He had shorter blonde hair, kind of probably anywhere from eye to chin length all the way around. No facial hair, no discernible scars. He was human. I would say for an eye color, if you want to try to remember an exact color, you can both give me a history check.
Sure. Oh, the one role I actually do well on is the one that I have, like, no skill in.
I was like, Kathalea, you're sitting there, you're like, Kathalea's like, oh, I think they were kind of a little bit of a darker color. And then Snow, you're like, yeah, brown. They were brown. So you know he has kind of a lighter colored hair with brown eyes.
And what race did you say this child was?
The child?
Yes.
The child is some
half to
descent,
3/4 elf.
some descent of Elven.
Well, I think this child is looking for his uncle.
Hmm.
And we should probably find him.
We do have his name. Especially after the tragedy of what happened to his father.
Yes. His father, who was a half-elf, and his mom, who was an elf. Just attacked by that bear.
Horrible, horrible story.
Horrible. I'm glad we found the child and he managed to talk to us and give us his uncle's name.
It does make our life a lot easier.
Yes, it does.
So, we're agreed then.
Yeah.
All right.
As long as the child is kept safe, I see no issue.
Safety
Of
is
course.
priority. All right, you guys get some sleep. I'll see you in the morning.
Okay.
Okay. All of you lay down for the evening. Watch us go without issue. I will say for this last roughly half to 3/4 day of travel, someone roll a d20.
Ooh. Okay.
It doesn't matter.
You don't want me rolling this one.
Boom, 15.
Let me
Nice.
Look at my chart here.
Knowing me, I would have gotten a 3.
Well, all right. There's clear skies as a kind of a warmer wind seems to be coming from the south. And I would say for this, most of you would be familiar with the layout of this continent. You know that to the south is a large desert area. So as the wind comes up from it, it's a warmer southern wind moving from south to north. And your travel is unimpeded. It is warm, bright, barely a cloud in the sky.
Excellent.
And as you begin to approach the massive city of Ry'Tul, let me get to my description here, make sure I get this proper. What takes your attention first is the way it is constructed. It is definitely with purpose and intent, resting at the center as you get close. From your far view to closer, you've seen it through almost the entire day. You've gotten closer. In the center is a large, almost kind of like this green stoned castle standing out amongst the brown and shades of brown lumber surrounding the castle of the capital. You know this as the Emerald Castle. It is where the king of Thavia resides. And as you have moved throughout it, this incredibly built structure of a city has just gotten larger and larger and larger as you feel yourselves becoming smaller. The towns of Rasso and Wymore easily dwarfed in comparison. And as you do get closer, you kind of pass, a cart here or there. Nothing really of too much note, just either a small group of people moving to and from. But they see you, see them, simple polite nod or wave is given. And as you begin to approach, you come up to one of the many gates of the capital of Ry'Tul. And that is where we'll pick up next Wednesday, their proper arrival into the capital of the Thavia region.
Nifty.
Fantastic
This is going to
session,
be
guys.
crazy.
Yeah, the world has opened up to you, all of you, and it is
Big city living.
big city living. Yeah,
A child in tow, of all things.
a child in tow of all things.
This child is gonna die. I'm calling it now.
100%. This child is already dead.
But you know what? It is not our fault. I mean,
Well, not yet.
not yet.
Not yet.
I don't know. Last night we all did make plans to use this child. And we all agreed on it.
Yeah, but it's not like we're gonna march him in front of us up to the Thieves Guild and be like, "Hey, who's gonna keep this kid?" We don't even really have to bring the child with us. We can leave the child in the inn and still inquire without the child.
True.
Yeah.
Very true. But we'll
Just
find
a
out
thought.
next Wednesday. Thank all of you for joining us for this fantastic session and being a part of this show as we grow and move on. We'll see you next Wednesday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Until then, be safe, have fun, and we'll see you Wednesday.